Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. And as we walk through Swansea, Illinois, in southern Illinois, right near St. Louis, Missouri, in fact about 25 minutes that way is going to be St. Louis. But these are the suburbs on the Illinois side. And as we talk about the market and everything going on in the market, it's important to realize that there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up here in the short term and the long term. And what we have to remember is that the market is always changing. And so if we can adapt our strategies to the market, then we can make potentially outsized returns. And this is a nice house I've always liked. Now during Christmas, these guys will have a very nice light show set up, and I'll have to do a walk during Christmas to show you guys. But let me know if you guys like these vlog style videos. This is a new thing that I'm trying, as I have been walking a lot more lately to get some more cardio. And you know, not that I don't work enough at my job at Amazon, working in a sort center, but still, the point is we have a massive opportunity ahead of us. And the people who are negative, right? The people who are going to tell you there's no opportunity, you know, AI is taking all the jobs. Those are the same people who are not going to participate in what's coming, right? So, and what's coming is we're going to have a shift, right? Now, not only, you know, with AI and all that, I've talked about how it's overhyped. I strongly believe that, you know, but we have, you know, smart cities. Internet of Things, I would say, is still a great industry to consider in terms of, you know, like the projects and things of the future that will be moving forward in the years to come. So AI is a long-term investment. Now, in the short term, I do believe there's all kinds of problems, and I believe there's lots of hallucinations. And I think what these large and small tech companies are going to realize is that the technology they've developed, you know, with all of these cybersecurity risk and everything else, needs to be significantly revised. And until that happens, I don't see AI really taking a lot of white collar jobs. But in the long term, we can see that potential, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. But you know, you do have all of the fad type markets that we saw, like cloud computing and the metaverse and all that. Now, cloud computing is still somewhat relevant. You know, the metaverse with Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. Now, that's a different story. I think that industry's kind of dying. But you know, blockchain, obviously, we've talked about cryptocurrencies. We've talked about these various market opportunities. It's rush hour right now. Lots of traffic going by. But for you guys interested in moving to St. Louis, this is Swansea, Illinois. There are a lot of homes in this district. This is Wolf Branch School District. The school is actually right down the road. But if you are moving to the St. Louis metropolitan area, not that you'd want to, but if you were, there is a lot of opportunity here in this St. Louis market, in the downtown district, you know, corporate offices in downtown. And also Edwardsville, Illinois is another market to consider if you're looking for pretty good paying jobs. And I just can't win here with this video, I tell you. Got the fire. Hopefully everything's okay there. Fire department is going somewhere. But you know, Illinois is beautiful though. So if you're looking for like an opportunity to move to, I will say Illinois is like it's beautiful out here. But just keep in mind, like, it's going to be flat. There's not going to be an ocean. You know, you're not living near a coastal area. There are a lot of lakes if you like boating, fishing, that kind of thing. But, you know, getting back on topic, just remember that the AI hype will subside. So that's one thing to remember. But in the meantime, or in the short term, you are going to have a lot of opportunities, just like you did in the 1990s with the stocks going up in value, right? So we're going to see the AI hype continue. Small caps, I think, are going to do pretty well with all of this AI hype. Small caps, I think, have also lagged behind for several years. So don't be surprised if small caps are one of those stocks that see a rebound. We obviously have Bitcoin. You know, Ethereum has been kind of questionable lately, but keep an eye on all those assets. XRP, I have some people who I know who are invested in XRP. I'm not invested personally, but keep that one in mind as well. We have Cardano, all the big boys, and there's a bunch more. But like I said, you just have to kind of watch the market, and it is moving very fast paced right now. And so you have to kind of adjust everything as you go along. But I actually went to school with one of my friends, and their grandparents owned, or I think they still probably own, this beautiful lake right here. Like I said, Illinois is beautiful in some regards, if you like flat plains and lakes and trees and all that kind of stuff. But another fire truck, something's going on down that way. I wish I had an ocean to walk next to. I wouldn't mind moving to Florida someday, but right now, with my family and wife and kids, we are trapped here in Southern Illinois. And I will say the property taxes are quite outrageous out here, so be careful if you do move out here, especially in certain school districts. Like, for example, we're coming up on the school right now, and as we come up on this school right here, this is one of the highest property tax districts. So just keep that in mind if you end up moving around the St. Louis metropolitan area. But I think the Midwest, that's another opportunity if you're looking at real estate. If it's cash flow or if it's appreciation. A lot of markets are experiencing trouble right now, but one market that is kind of holding up well, and this is where I have my home right now, is the Southern Illinois, Midwest market in general. There is risk of like tornadoes and stuff like that. But, you have hurricane risk on the coast. So all those popular coastal cities, you're going to have similar risk. It's just a matter of what type of risk you want to take, right? So you have the potential for major storms. The economy is not going to be quite as vibrant either as some, coastal cities. But that's another opportunity if you're looking for a lower cost of living, especially. The Midwest can provide that lower cost of living. And you do get some beautiful sunsets, like where I live. My porch and everything is set up to have some beautiful sunsets. And I'm able to actually enjoy, sit out on my porch, have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee while I'm watching the sunset. And, it's just one of those things where living by the coast is not for everybody. So, I know those popular coastal cities are what everybody wants to flock to. But at the same time, you do have a better job market there. But the lower cost of living is one major benefit, and the lower cost of housing. My house is approaching the $200,000 value, but I bought it for $135,000. And the only downside is really the property taxes, because we got locked into a low mortgage payment. So just a consideration. But, on this channel, we talk a lot about the opportunities that are out there. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think is going to do well in the coming months and years? Do you think AI is overhyped? Do you really think it's going to take, a lot of people's jobs, 50% or even 20%, like I think the Anthropic CEO is saying? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. But let me know what you guys are investing in, what you guys think is going to be doing pretty well in the market. Gold is another one, and gold and silver have been doing very well. I would take a look not only at junior miners, but if you're looking at senior miners for dividends and cash flow. I do have a channel on cash flow, so that's another consideration if you're looking for dividends or anything like that. You can definitely check that out, and I'll leave the link down below. Also, for you guys interested in the Patreon, check out the Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel. $5 a month. That is if you like my content. No obligation. And I am working on some courses for you guys who do sign up for the Patreon, so it'll help out with investing, and specifically how to find those outsized returns is one of the courses that I'm working on right now. Wolf Branch School District. Let's talk about this one. So if you look on Illinois, if you do a Google search on Wolf Branch, right? This is the middle school. There's also an elementary school. This is one of the highest property tax districts in the state. And this is unfortunately where I decided to buy my home. So even though I did get a good deal, this is what you're paying for. And in fact, they just increased by practically like 75% the expenses on the property tax bill. These guys are the culprit right here, because you have to pay these teachers lavish salaries and pensions. And, it is what it is. I think teachers, with the amount of money they make, they don't make that much. So, perhaps they should have a good pension. What do you guys think? You know, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But I'm gonna shut this off here pretty soon. It's getting pretty hot out here. It's about the peak of the day, 4 p.m. So we are just walking through the suburbs of Southern Illinois, getting closer to my house here. But, you know, we have blockchain, we have AI, we have cloud computing, Internet of Things, smart cities. I think Internet of Things, smart cities, AI, those are all going to be relevant. Cloud computing as well, probably. But the metaverse, maybe someday, right? Maybe as people get used to it. But I just feel like there's so much uncertainty. People don't want to put on like a big old screen on their head. It just feels weird. You know, we already have the screen on our hand, you know, most of the time. Why do we need any additional screens on our head? You know, going into a virtual reality, I think it's just creepy personally. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, guys, these are some of the opportunities to watch in the markets right now. Some of the top, I guess, 5 opportunities you could say. So let me know what you guys think, and I would love to hear your thoughts as always. And we will see you guys in the next video. Take care out there.